What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Thoughts of the Week podcast. And we got another interview popping. All right. Y'all ready? You're rocking with the best. Thoughts of the Week. Let's get it.
You are listening to Thoughts of the Week.
Yeah, what's going on? What's going on? Thoughts of the Week podcast. Naima, how are you?
Good. How are you, gentlemen? How are you?
All right. Let me move something out the way here real quick. Oh, there we go. So, I thank y'all for coming in. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So I want y'all to introduce yourselves. We're going to start with Naima first.
Hello, everyone. I am Naima. I was invited to this lovely platform by the host of Thoughts of the Week. Thank you for inviting me here. I'm excited. Let's get it. What's up? How are you, Mr. Lamarr?
All is well. I'm Lamarr, aka Coach L. Invited into being here just to kind of share some thoughts of the week, some thoughts of life, and plant some seeds and hopefully wake some people up to see some different things that they can do for their own lives and just kind of bring in perspective to a lot of things that we may be aware of.
Okay. Yes, indeed. For those who don't know, Lamarr is actually my brother, my biological brother. Yep. So, yes, indeed. So, let's get started with some questions here. And first of all, how has the coronavirus affected y'all business wise? Go ahead, Naima, start with you.
It's kind of twofold for me. The business that I run with my business partner, who is also my sister, is Exceptional Events. So we've been running our event planning business for going on 6 years now. And we've been very lucrative these past 2 years. So we've been loving it, and we've been scheduling things, and we've been booking our weddings and anniversaries and birthdays and things like that. And then the Rona came. So it has definitely been a humbling experience to teach us how to adjust. And I feel like we have definitely done that in such an effective way that it's like, okay, this is kind of our plan as far as going forward for the future, because we do plan on relocating and we won't be in the same place. So this kind of opened up the doors to let us know, hey, when we finally do transition, this is the way we can still make income even though we're not together. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
I hear you. Gotcha. And you, bro?
So, I mean, with me, I just looked at it as opportunity. I think about it going as far back as when they created airplanes. People weren't even thinking about flying across the world, but when they heard about it, there were people who were just like, nah, this ain't happening. There were people who rejected it right off the top. So my mindset was like, this is the same thing. There are things that we have to be creative with now that people are going to be like, nah, you can't do that. Nah, you don't have that, because the mindset hasn't shifted into that place. So I just took this as an opportunity to figure out, one, to understand what my own psychology is, because being a person who's looking to expand and being a business owner, I had to figure out what my own psychology was and figure out how that's impacting me going forward. So in terms of my business, man, I had people that I've been working with, and they were hitting me up. They were like, yo, we don't want to stop. A lot of my is with coaching, helping people get healthy from the mind, healthy from the inside, and then working that on the outside. So I have people who, one client in particular, she was an Afghanistan warrior. She fell out of a helicopter, multiple back surgeries, and every day she comes to train, she shows up like 120%. So she was one of the people in particular reached out, was like, yo, this ain't stopping. She's like, I hope you ain't getting comfortable, because I ain't. So people like that kind of kept me, motivated, kept me on fire to keep moving and then get creative in doing what I'm doing now. So, still have some in-person, still have some people offline that I'm training, but it just kept me more in a creative mode.
All right, cool. So how can Naima, how can everybody reach you? Social media or website or anything like that?
Yes. So I have social media platforms as well as a website. Our website is www.exceptionalevents.com, spelled EXCEPTIONALEEVENTS, exceptionalevents.com, as well as Facebook and Instagram. Instagram is at exceptional, spelled the same way, .events, and same for Facebook. Exceptional Events LLC on Facebook.
Are you ready for me? All right. Same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I'm hitting up the social media, so you can hit me at CoachL.fit on IG. Hit me at Coach Lamarr on Facebook. Currently don't have the website up and operational anymore because of the recent changes, but the website will soon be back up and running. But you can reach out to me even directly. I got my business line at 929-367-0434, so you can reach out directly, or you can hit me up with a text. It is my business line, so I do understand the difference and the separation between business and off business hours. So if you text me late, don't feel bad if I don't hit you back right away. I will get back to you with a 24-hour window. But that's how you can reach me.
Well, I'm sorry if I can piggyback, because Mr. Lamarr King, you have just reminded me, and I don't know where my mind was, but let me leave my phone number, please. 815-317-6202 is how you can reach and or text us. I just want to get
give me that number. Give me that number again.
815-317
6202. 6202. All right. Cool. Let me get this down right quick for you. And Lamarr, give me that number again.
That's 929.
Yep.
367.
Yep.
0434.
0434. Cool. All right, got y'all. All right, cool. What made y'all decide to get started in entrepreneurship in the first place?
I'll go. For me, it was autonomy before I knew what autonomy was. I always had the desire to do my own thing. I've always been the type to move by the beat of my own drum. And I have encountered people that have just inspired me to be like, I know that I can do more. I know what I'm capable of. And I didn't want to keep putting myself in a position where I was being the vessel to continue building somebody else's dream. And I had dreams of my own and things that I had to do and show my children, as far as like, no, you don't have to have a 9 to 5. You don't have to clock in to live your best life. You can create your own lane. And that's part of what I'm doing with my businesses. But Exceptional is the one that's at the top, because that's my baby. But it was that. And now that I fully understand what autonomy means and everything that it offers, I crave that. So I'm on one.
Cool. What about you, Lamarr?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a multifaceted type approach. One, for over 16 years, I was on the ambulance in New York City, man. Just riding through. I'm picking up people, picking up patients. I'm seeing death at crazy levels. And the majority of the areas that we went into, where I was experiencing a lot of people who were dying or who were having medical conditions, unfortunately, were Black communities, which is not anything that's new or not anything that's not known already. So looking at that, growing up, I used to always see people like, we used to go out to Brooklyn. I used to go there with my aunt, and like some of her church members, I always see them, and their ankles were swollen, they were overweight. And I don't mean this in any way to be disrespectful, but we just didn't know how to take care of ourselves. And one of the things I tell people, like I tell them that it's okay to not know better, but it's not okay if you don't want to do better. So growing up, we didn't, we didn't think they knew better. So it's like, all right, that's one thing that I didn't want to find myself in a position where I'm walking around with medications and walking around with swollen ankles. So I didn't understand at that point what that was a cause of. I didn't understand all of the medical things had a lot to do with how we ate that impacted our body. So that was one thing. And then just going forward, it really understanding what health means, because like even our father, he passed at 64, and I'm like, yo, I'm not far from that in reality. And I think about my own children. It's like when now in my 40s, when I'm able to talk to them, I can pass on things to them in their 20s that is going to benefit them in their space in life. Mm-hmm. So if I don't make it to my 60s, what am I going to pass on? So where's that legacy begin? So that's what, those are two of the main things that impacted me in the decision to do that. In addition to, I was just that dude who mastered the beat of a different drum. Like even when I worked on the ambulance, you know, if I saw something, I was compassionate about it. When I saw people, they needed help, I was genuinely there to help them. And when I saw people who felt they were privileged and they were like, yo, we're going to call your supervisor, I always kept a stack of cards in my pocket and say, here's my supervisor's number, call him. I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm going to tell you the truth. So I wasn't that dude who's going to, you know, back down, because I'm like, yo, I'm here to do what I'm doing. And I know that I'm here to serve a purpose. So those were like some of the catalysts that moved me forward into making a decision to be like, all right, it's time for me to do what I do, because no matter where I am, as much as I love the medical field, as much as I love the work environment, and I don't knock anybody in the work environment, because if that's your hustle, that's what you're doing something for your family and however you feel like you need to do it. But for me, it really, and just learning now, pretty much even now in my mid 40s, I'm learning that it's really about a legacy. And there's lessons that I'm just now learning. So it's a lot, but that's the basic, that's the foundation of what moves me forward.
Gotcha. So in your business, if you're struggling with something, what one thing are you struggling with that you wish you had a kind of handle on right now in regards to your business? Whether it's getting like you needed more employees or more time, or you have a struggle with time, or whatever it is, what are you struggling with?
For me, because I am still considered an essential worker, in the county that I live in, I work for the court systems. So, you know, we're not moving the way that we would normally move, of course, because of COVID-19, but I am still an essential piece to the company. So I still have to go out and about. So what I am now discovering regarding my time, considering I only have to go in for a week and then I'm off 2 weeks and then I go in for, so when I'm at work, now I feel like time is being robbed from me, because now I've had all of this time here at home to funnel into these projects that have been dormant and to continue funneling into my event planning business. And now I'm just like, oh, things have shifted, because now I feel like I'm wasting my time being here at work. So, you know, even though it's been definitely a tool to fuel and funnel income into my other businesses, I know that it's an essential thing, because you're not going to start a business without money. It's going to take money to make money, especially when you're investing into yourself. So I'm definitely privy to that. But this transition has shifted my thinking in a positive way for me. I feel to be like, okay, I need more time for me so that I can continue pushing and funneling all of my energies into these things that I know are going to be great. I have these different projects that are going on that have just been in my mind. I'm writing down notes whenever something comes to me, but I'm moving still. I'm still a mom. I'm still a wife. I'm still a worker. I'm still a woman. I still have all these other things to do and all these other hats to wear. So now that this time has slowed down and I've been able to have a different perspective on time. Oh yeah, I want more of that. Because I'm very creative within my own time. I'm a creative person anyway. So the time that I've been allowed, while people are like, oh, I can't wait to get back to work. And that I'm like, how long can we push this out? I got vacation days saved up. I can go and put them in too once this is all over. But I'm loving it. So it's definitely a positive thing for me to say, hey, something has to shift. So therefore I can continue putting this time into these things. That's what I feel like I need more of in this season right now.
What about you, bro?
Yeah, for me, man, to be honest, my biggest struggle in business is me. And being able to learn that and be able to acknowledge and identify that. And that spreads over life, because there are certain patterns that I have that are embedded within me in my thinking about who I am, about things that, we grew up hearing, things that we may have not heard. There's different things that are embedded in us. And again, going back to the psychology of who I am, there are things that are embedded that have been there for years that are preventing me from moving forward. So things really become a self-fulfilled prophecy. So if you believe that you can't do something deeply, no matter how much you quote positive think, you won't be able to escape that until you shift that way of thinking. So for me, shifting my thoughts, understanding who I am, so understanding my psychology, understanding what are the patterns that have built my self-image over the years, and then looking at, okay, what are these things that are holding me back? What am I holding on to that may have come from like our father? What am I holding on to that may have come from people I grew up with that were around me? And then learning how to release those things, identify them, release those things, so that going forward, the opportunity expands more, because I'm not holding on to these things that are so deeply embedded that I don't even realize they're holding me back. So that's one level. That's at the deepest level. Come a little higher from that level. I guess the real thing is understanding my worth. And everything right now comes back to me. So not everything I say seems like it comes right back to me, and it does. But understanding my worth, because I know the value that I have, but then being able to put myself out in that space where I put my services out there at that value, I tend to think in other people's minds, so to speak. So I think about what they will pay and what they may not pay. And then I kind of base it off of that, where I'm learning now, like I'm just learning within probably these past 5 to 6 months, learning now not to do that. I can't base it off of them. I know the worth that I have, and I know my value. So clearing, again, building, rebuilding, understanding my own psychology, and then recreating that so that it's more beneficial and effective for me, is put me in a position where I can now go out and know my value and represent that without a question.
All right, no doubt.
That's deep. That's real.
Yes, indeed. So you probably heard that people are talking about the economy crashing, or the potential that the economy might crash. And I wanted to get your outlook on what do you think about the economy in this present state and how it affects entrepreneurs as a whole.
I think that if you're new in the game as far as entrepreneurship, then you're probably shaken. And that's just my very, honest opinion. There could be people who have been the entrepreneurship game for an extended amount of time, and they're still like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I don't feel that feeling ever hit me. And to be quite honest, it could just be the fact that I am still blessed to still be working. It could be that. So I can't physically and literally put myself in someone else's shoes, but I can sympathize, like, wow, like I'm still a compassionate person. So it sucks that for the people who have lost jobs, or for the people who have lost business during their entrepreneurial ride. And I'm just like, wow. So it definitely gives you a perspective. As far as this economy crashing, I feel like COVID-19 is not the end of the world. I feel like this is a season that we are in right now, and it's new for a lot of us because a lot of us have never experienced anything like this. They talked about the recession and things like that. What I have learned is empires are built during recessions. I have been investing in stocks prior to this. So the fact that stocks have fallen, it's like, oh, that'll really kind of just be like, well, dang, like I just put all this money in here. But it's not going to stay that way. And I have to have faith in that, because what I'm doing is building, as you stated, Lamarr, as far as legacy. That's what I'm doing right now in every aspect of the word for my boys, for my young kings that I'm raising. They need to know that you always have a plan B, right? Because you never know what's going to happen. And we did not see this coming. Nobody saw this coming. So everybody had to adjust. And as a human race, majority of us are very resilient, especially us. But I'm going to leave that for another episode.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
Resilient. And we adjust. So like I said, I'm optimistic. I'm aware of what's going on, and I'm moving accordingly. But I got to look at this cup half full, because if I'm sulking, then what am I going to accomplish within this time? I'm building greatness right now. So thank you, God, for putting the world on pause so I can continue building this greatness. I I don't see anything bad coming out of this. Just hold tight, y'all. We ain't gonna be in this forever. Hold tight.
There you go. There you go. Mm-hmm. What about you, Lamarr?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it. Several levels I like to look at things. So, for example, us as a race, as a community, we pump anywhere from 1.1 to 1.3 to 1.4 trillion dollars into this economy. If you took the black race alone, and just, I got some people who may be listening who are not black. So again, I am pro-black, but I'm not anti anybody else. So if I lose some people because of it, that's what it is.
Yep.
But I look at, for example, tobacco. As a race, we spend $3.3 billion on tobacco. On alcohol, we spend $3 billion on alcohol. $3 billion on alcohol as a race. On juices and sodas, we spend $2.8 billion on alcohol. On phones and everything like that, we're spending almost $19 billion on that stuff. Mm-hmm. And when I look at the fact that we're pumping anywhere from 1.1 to 1.4 trillion dollars into the economy, you did the research and you took black people and you made them a nation to themselves, we would fall within the top 10 to top 11 in terms of economy and GDP, meaning that we have more buying power than the U.S. by itself. But yet, when we look at the outcome of how that money is spent, out of every dollar that comes into the community, only 2 cents goes to black business.
Exactly. Thank you for saying that. Thank you. Thank you.
So, I mean, when I look at that, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I look at that, and then I take got some other figures about, like, if you go, for example, you look at the Asian community. So a dollar earned in the Asian community stays in the Asian community about 30 days.
Jewish community
earned in the Jewish community stays approximately 20 days.
Yep.
A dollar earned in a white community stays in there approximately 12 to 17 days. A dollar earned in a black community stays in the black community approximately 6 hours. So there's
or less.
Twofold.
Or less. Wow.
Yeah.
Like, we get paid enough time to go home, take a nap, and then we outspend it in somewhere else.
Yeah.
So there's a twofold thing when it comes to business. It's like, one, we don't invest in our own, because a lot of times, unfortunately, we look at somebody else and we think they're better than us, and we hope they think they're higher than us. And then the other side of that is, a lot of times, unfortunately, when it comes to black businesses, we get a little label, we write something down, and we just stick it on and call it a business. So we don't have any type of respect for how we build our businesses. So there are businesses in Brooklyn, for example, that the food is off the hook. People are going there time and time. They're getting turnover of people going into their establishment. But the people walking around are like, what do you want? Can I help you? They don't care. They don't have a standard of excellence. And then look at the facility. It's not a place you want to go and sit down. You're like, yo, this place, I want to get my food and get out. But the food is good. So obviously the fact that you're selling something that has that much value says a lot. But imagine if you invested energy into your establishment, into your people, into setting standards that you want to live by. So it's like, these are the things that I look at when it comes to the economy, especially in particular black economy. It's like, we're putting so much, and on average, we make about $20,000 to $40,000 less as a whole, but we spend $20,000 more than most other races in this economy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, recession, are we in it? We're always in it because of the way we spend. It's about our spending habits, the decisions we make, the way we spend. So we're always in it, but at the same time, we're like, we never have to be in it. It's the choices that we make and the decisions that we make that put us in it. So, I mean, I feel like, there's a recession, but are we? I bet you see, everybody the other day was out, as soon as the lockdown was lifted, you got lines going around the block for Jordans. Like, where's the priorities at?
Can I piggyback, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because everything that you just said is right on the nail. And these are conversations that I have all the time with my peers, with family and things like that. Because even if you notice, like, when you start up your own businesses, sometimes your family is not the first people to run and support you, or if they're trying to show any ounce of support, it's, where the discount's at. You know, like, but you're not going into Ying's Beauty Supply and asking for a discount on your Remy. Okay. You're not doing these things at other establishments. So respect my hustle and support me. And if you can't support me by investing into me, then support me from afar. I'll take that too. But like you said, it's just lined up for Jordans, lined up for iPhones. But while you sitting here spending all your money, you're not investing in yourself. You're renting and you're living in somebody's basement. And I'm just giving scenarios, very general scenarios, but it's like we don't support each other enough, which is sad. And when it comes down to us doing our thing, when it comes to us having the mindset of the creators of Black Wall Street, do you hear me? The communities are not the same anymore. So I feel like the people who have that mindset, we're so spread out. Like you guys are in New York. Is that what I heard? I'm in Illinois, gentlemen. Okay. And I am doing my best to get myself out of this area, but this is where I'm at. And we're so far and few in between. But when we come together, we so powerful and we just still don't see that. And the world is still playing us to the left. And I don't. Listen, we can go on for days. Go ahead, start with your questions.
No doubt. Now, speaking of the economy, let's say you know for sure it's going to crash. Let's say they give you a chance of say 8 months to a year, so you know it's going to happen. How would you prepare for it?
That's a good question, Lamarr.
In regards to your business.
Right. Okay. Let me think on that. That's a good question.
Repeat the top part. You glitched out on my end.
Let's say they give you, let's say there's a word that goes out and says, well, yeah, the economy is going to crash. And let me put up this comment real quick. The economy is going to crash. And they're giving you 8 to 6 months before it actually legitimately crashes. How would you prepare for that? What would be some things you do to prepare in regards to your business?
Yeah, well, for me, preparation is always. You know, I'm a man of God. I'm a biblical believer. So I think about Joseph. Before the famine was coming, he knew the famine was coming. So for 7 years, when they had the plenty, they were already preparing for whatever when that moment would come, where they wouldn't have anything. So when the famine came, they were still rocking and rolling, and everybody was still going to them. So in terms of that, my mindset is always thinking if you you stay ready, you never have to get ready. So I'm staying prepped for all of the things that will come. If I'm staying prepped for all of the things that may happen, and because of where we come from, our background, we know what it's like to be in the lower part of the hood and everything like that. So I know what that's like. So because we know what that's like, my mindset is like, yo, how do I stay out of that? Even how do I get out of that? Because my mind, you know, again, and just to be real, it's like my mind is still part of that hood. It's like I'm still learning how to disconnect even now. And it's never too late to disconnect because there's even financial issues and struggles that I have to this day. So, you know, I don't want to come on and put out there to anybody who's watching, it's like, yo, I got it going on. I got it together. Nah, the struggle's real. I'm still struggling. I'm still learning. But in the process of me learning, and I'm finally breaking through some shells and some walls and some things that have held me down for years in my own head. How now do I go forward when I look at what happened now, like in this moment, in this pandemic moment? How do I prepare for the pandemic of lack? How do I prepare for the pandemic of not having enough clients or whatever the situation is? How do I prepare for that pandemic? And I'm learning now. I've learned and I'm learning now how to prepare, how to make sure that, again, how I think about things is how the world would appear to me. If I have blue glasses on and I go outside and I'm looking through blue glasses, I'm going to argue that the world is blue because that's all I see. That's the lenses that I'm looking through. So I have to look at the lens that I'm looking through. I have to clean off the lenses to see what kind of junk was blocking my vision and then figure out how to go forward from there. So the short answer to that is stay prepared. Look at your worst case scenario. Look at the lowest point where you were in business and where you were in life for that matter. And now going forward, how do you avoid trying to do that? How do you avoid trying to stay out of that hole?
Gotcha. How about you, Naima?
For me, I think that I agree with everything that you said, Lamarr. Somebody said to me the other day, we were taught to survive, not to live. And that kind of hit me real hard. I was like, well, dang. That's kind of, we have always been taught, like, in our culture, have genes of hustle in us, whether we decide to take on that or not. We have it in us. So for me, specifically for an event planning business, if I'm being realistic with myself, I'm not sure, because I feel like if the economy was to fall, the last thing that somebody is thinking about is throwing a party. The last thing that someone is thinking about is, oh, I need to spend all this money for decor for my event, and rightfully so, because the world has changed so drastically. So me being transparent and being real with myself and knowing how my mind works when it comes to hustle, when it comes to making sure that ends meet, making sure that my family needs and wants for nothing, I think that I would be okay, but it'd probably be in a different capacity that would not be my event planning business, to be honest, because if that time was to ever come, realistically, who is going to be thinking about, hey, I need to hit them up so I can see how much their wedding package is? I doubt it. People are going to be trying to get their lives together. And that's me being real with myself, which is part of the reason why I have these other things going on that will last beyond that. So I came on here to showcase that, because that is actually what's at the top. That's what I've been working on the longest, but I have other things in place based off what you said, because if you stay ready, you ain't never got to get ready. So I'm ready in different realms. It may not be specifically what I'm doing as far as my event planning, but I'm ready regardless, because this world is very fickle, as well as the government that we are under. So I am not ignorant to the facts. Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready if I need to be, because I don't want my kids to have to go through things that I could have avoided as their parent and their father. So
yeah, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
That's Joshua. Looking at the comments there. Yeah.
Josh.
Hello, everyone.
That's my nephew, I believe.
Hey, nephew.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Very important is to understand that most of us, if not all of us, have multiple gifts. And a lot of times we approach life, we approach business as one-dimensional people. We think one way, we think one thing, and we think we can only do one thing. And we may do one thing well, but we have many gifts. So it's like at some point when there's a need, the gifts in us are prepared to fulfill those needs. So it's like if you need something, you begin to ask yourself, what gift should I give to the world? Because there's something that is going to give in return. So it basically comes down to having a seed. The multiple things you have going on are the seeds that you have. And there are places where they need to be planted. Like for me, when it really comes down to helping people, one, not just a exercise program or a nutrition program, but understanding your habits, understanding why you're eating like you're eating, understanding why your emotions are playing a role into what you're eating, understanding that there are things that you don't even see that come up and cause you to be able to block out other things which prevent your progression and your success. Normally when I do an assessment with clients, it usually goes about an hour, 10 minutes. And there was a day where I spent like almost 3 hours just talking to one young lady. And we just broke through so many different barriers, from childhood issues with her parents, things that her parents said to her as a child that was like, wow, the way I feel about my body has so much to do with what I was told and what I believed about myself. So that's the holistic approach that I do and that I approach people with, just understanding these different levels, but being a person who understands that we're not one-dimensional human beings. We don't live in a one-dimensional world. So like you with your event planning, you being able to plan an event means that you can organize. So whether organization is an event or organization is gathering people to find who has a like mind, you have the ability to do that. So you're multifaceted and your multi level of skill puts you in a place where you can plant seeds in so many different places where organization is required. So, you know, I just want to add that part is remember that we're not one-dimensional. We are multidimensional.
That's so funny that you say that, Lamarr, because I feel like you just revealed something to me that I didn't know how to verbalize because I was going through, you know, just my meditation and, you know, my mental health and things like that I do for myself. And I thought about that. I said, I feel like I've started or I've introduced a lot of different things to different people, whether they're part of my team or not. And it's great. Like, for instance, my event planning, I approached my partner, my sister, her name is Deborah Thomas. If anybody's ever looking us up, Deborah Thomas, shout out to you. I approached her with it and I was like, look, we can do this, because what we were doing prior to just brought me so much joy for the different things to our community before we ever had. Like, we did it. Here we are 6 years later and we're doing it. I met you through the podcast, through the Facebook.
You're breaking up a little bit, Naima.
And that next venture.
Hey, Naima,
sitting under the wrap for about some time now. I'm gonna say that because everything takes time. But I have a whole group of women behind me that are like, "Hey, we can do this." So, wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you now. You're kind of in and out.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. We were just fine. Okay. But yeah, I didn't realize that about myself as far as verbalizing it, Lamarr. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. Because I know that I'm very detailed. I know that I feel like I'm organized within my business, but not within my space. I'm organized within my kids and within the rest of my home, but I'm like a chaotic masterpiece, if that makes sense. Like, if you're looking for it, just ask me. I'll know where it is. Don't worry about it. Like, type thing. But outside of this, I'm like AB. I'm very analytical. And so I think that's a gift. So I appreciate that, sir. I appreciate you pointing that out to me.
No doubt. Let me get this.
Somebody wants to be on the show too. He's like, listen, sir, you left me out. Okay.
In regards to that, I normally look at things. There was a video I did where I said that it's good to ask yourself what if ahead of time and then plan for those what ifs.
Yep.
That way, if those disasters come, then you got it prepared already. Are you any of you? I think Lamarr, you work solo, right? You're in your business, but do you have a little team or what?
Yeah.
All right. How about you, Naima? You solo?
For now, so.
Okay. For me, in my initial business, I am not. And my business partner is Deborah Thomas, who is my sister. So in that, I am not by myself. In the podcast that'll be coming soon, I am not by myself. But the other ventures that I have yet to release, I am by myself. Yes.
Okay. If you were to have 2 or more employees, how would you describe yourself? Would you describe yourself as a micromanager, or would you be the type that allows your people that freedom to do what they need to do and to take care of decisions? Well, what would be your personality?
I'm the type of person where I'm gonna treat you how I want to be treated. You know what? I'm working for someone else. I don't need a helicopter. We are all adults here. If you don't trust me to do what I need to be doing, then I don't need to be in this space. And I am like that with the people that I bring into my circles too, especially when we're starting up ventures. I leave our assignment. We all know what we have to do. I don't need to babysit nobody. Children are ready. So I don't need to be behind anyone, but that also is a gift for me because it shows me who takes initiative. So definitely not a micromanager. I'm definitely a team player, but I know that I have alpha traits. So I try to find a healthy balance. I try to find a balance with that. But yeah, I'm not gonna run up after you. We're not children anymore. But if that's not something that you're gonna take serious, then I can respect that. And you have to gracefully bow out of whatever we're doing, because I see success. And if you don't see the same thing, then we're not on the same page. And I can respect that. But I'm not going to continue moving forward with you if you're not going to be working the way we need to work so that we can have this freedom. So that's how I am.
Right. All right. What about you, Lamarr?
Yeah. I believe in freedom. When it really comes down to it, if I'm going to connect to somebody, the like-mindedness has to be there. We have to be vibrating together initially, because if that vibration ain't there initially, then you're not even going to be on my team. Because I look at it in a way, and I heard this in a message. It was like there are people who can be classified as 3 categories. So you got your ride or die, and those are people who are going to look out for you, people you look out for, the people who are going to tell you the truth about what is, and no matter what, your ups, your downs, they got your back. Considered like confidants. You got your comrade people who are like, I'm riding with you because we're both going in the same direction. But when it's time for me to get off and go in another direction, I'm gonna be moving on in the next direction. And then you got your people who ride with you because you hate what they hate. Basically, the enemy of my enemy friend type of thing. So they may be the type of people who are over here who are like, they'll ride with you because what you're doing is against the other person who they hate more than you, or they dislike more than you. So they'll ride with you until it's time for that flip to happen. And then when somebody else that they like a little better than you, then all of a sudden they over there. You got the other person who is like the people who are like, yo, we're in the same direction. We're going in the same direction. So we're going to get in the car and go the same direction. But when that split in the road comes, we can part our separate ways, and we can go on good terms. Sometimes it may not be on good terms, but in most times it's on good terms. And then you got those people who are like, yo, I'm with you. I will ride with you. We'll go down with you. And we'll bring this thing back up together. So being able, with that mindset, thinking about how I approach people and thinking about how people come into my space, I'm more conscious to look for that and to be more aware of that. Like when a person comes into my space, like, yo, why are they here? What purpose are they serving? And really understanding their standards. So one of the things I tell people when it comes to people say, oh, you can't judge. And yeah, you can't judge. But one of the things that I do is I'm going to learn a person's standards. Then I'm going to hold you accountable to your own standards. And if you betray your own standards, then I already know where you fit into my space, which is you don't. So really just comes down to me learning what their standards are and do they live by their own standards. And if they live by their own standards, then, there's somebody who I would consider putting in my space. But depending on where they are in terms of being in that category of 3, they may not necessarily be in a certain position where I can turn my back and say, all right, I'm taking off. I can trust you with this. Everybody's at a different place. And I respect the different levels of places where people are, but just because we may be cool don't mean you're going to get what you think you're supposed to get in terms of a job or a position or whatever. So I want to trust you to do what you're capable of doing, what you show me you can do.
Cool. Okay, so if social media stopped today, how if social media stopped today, how would you continue to promote your businesses? Let's look at it like that.
You just gotta go back to the drawing board. How did they do it before? We got newspapers still. We have the news channels still. We have those old school cork boards in the grocery stores still. So I feel like if you know how to adjust, and if you were around before the social media and all this technology wave hit, oh, you'll be fine. It's these kids that have to know that. It's the children. So, yeah.
I hit the ground because there's a lot of times there's a spot over here. When I go outside to do my training outside, and people are stopping me over there. and you know, you got info. What do you do? What do you do? And again, it's because of the passion I have for what I do. When I'm out there, like I'm out there hitting it hard. I'm a person. I'm in Florida right now. I don't like the heat. People are like,
what?
yo, black people supposed to like
Come on,
the
let's
heat.
switch. Come on, let's go.
I like the heat. Give me a little bit of rain, give me a little wind, give me a little fall. Summer's coming over to the heat. I'm not looking forward to hot every day. You wake up, it's like, oh my God, it's like December, hot. February, hot. March is hot. Like,
I love
it.
I don't know.
Yeah, overrated, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm out there. So I've adapted myself to actually being out there training. I'm like, I'm hitting that pavement hard. And I got a few people who I invite to come out and train with me. Then I have a few people who come out as clients to train with me. And and I know it. And, you know, not even afraid to say there was a point, and I'm even being conscious now, again, when I talk about my psychology, there was a point where I would be nervous about saying this. I'd be like, yo, well, yeah, I'm all right. But I'm like, yo, no, I'm good at what I do. And I know I'm good at what I do. And I know it shows. And people see that.
Confident.
And they're coming up and they're asking. So I have no problem getting out there, having a conversation. I have no problem, you know, hitting the ground, just talking to people. Again, because what I do is so all-encompassing of not just nutrition and not just exercise. It's about your mindset. It's about gratitude. It's about meditation. It's about how you sleep. These are all things that affect us. These are all things that we need to do to create total health, and then total health ultimately creates wealth. So just being out there talking to people, or people just having regular conversations, people are going to ask, we're like, yo, I can't sleep. Oh, opportunity. I'm going to talk to you about what sleeping does for your brain and what it does for your body. Man, I'm not eating right, or I'm training, I'm not losing weight, or I'm training, I'm not gaining weight, whatever it is. Oh, you know what? Let's talk. So I'll hit the ground running. Like Naima said, I get some flyers. We got to do that. We got to get some bulletin boards.
Yeah. And make it work.
And that spins around like this.
Yep.
Arrow.
Yep. With the little bubble dude. Yep. Everything. Get it done.
Yeah. You're also doing it with your phone numbers there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That way as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So contact, man. I mean, it's so many ways. It's limitless. It's just limited based on the limits that we put on it.
Yeah. Yep.
No doubt. So how often do you guys test out and experiment with new technologies and different strategies? How often do y'all do that? Do you find yourself testing out different things when something new comes out, just to see if it'll help you in your business productivity wise or strategy wise, whatever? How often do y'all do that, if you do it?
With me, I've noticed with every year that has come and passed, we always want to do better than we did the year before. We always want to have some type of better equipment or tools than we had before. So say, for instance, this year, you know, we had already elevated ourselves from last year, but now COVID is here. So like, okay, we have to adjust. So now dealing with technology and pushing ourselves to still remain relevant and making sure that people still see us on their timelines, or packages becoming popular amongst entrepreneurs. So, I froze. Are we still here, gentlemen?
Yeah, we can hear you. He was kind of in and out from time to time.
Here?
Can you hear us?
Are we still up and running?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes, I can hear you, but it looks like I froze. I don't know, but okay. But yeah, so virtual packages is our new venture, which I think is going to definitely be a benefit in the long run, because it opens up another realm, up a lane for us when it comes to income, when it comes to revenue, when it comes to still delivering an experience. It opened up another lane for us. So all of us know that technology is not going to do anything but keep progressing.
Yeah.
It's going to continue to progress. I was around for the AOL dial. I was around for that. That's, you know, landline phones are non-existent pretty much at this point in time. So keep it coming.
Cool. Can you hear us still, Naima?
That dial-up.
Yes, I can.
All right, cool. What about you, Lamarr?
Yeah,
As far as
for the AOL. Dial-up. Bing, bang, bang.
Yeah, right. You was hoping for that third icon too, like please, 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 come on, jump on the screen, jump on the screen.
No doubt.
Right? Right?
Yeah,
I want to get on instant messengers today. Yep.
No doubt. What about you, Lamarr?
Yeah.
What about you, Lamarr?
So,
okay, go ahead.
Right now, a mobile platform we're using right now, you know, is another avenue. So there's some people who can't train with me directly or in person, or who may have felt uncomfortable training because of everything that's going on directly in person. So there's a mobile option also for people who are looking to train or looking just to get a nutrition aspect of what I do, or just a lifestyle coaching aspect of what I do. So there's that option. I've looked into several different options, and again, I'm feeling like even within the space that I'm in now, there's a bigger way to expand. There's a bigger audience to reach. So I'm in the process of looking now to see what other ways that I can actually expand that. But I believe that one of the key elements to these things and having all of these accessible things is to understand that you have to know who you're speaking to, who's your market, who are you targeting, what do they want, what do they need. Because if you can't speak to those things specifically and you're just kind of like throwing something out there and hoping it sticks to a wall, then you're not going to really be effective in terms of how you reach people. I'll get more clients as a specialist if I'm dealing with your heart than I would as a generalist is dealing with everything. So it's really about being a specialist at what you do and then figuring out how to take your specialty and then put that into whatever you decide to use.
Right.
Cool. All right. So when it comes to entrepreneurship or your business, do you consider yourself, do you look at business in the terms of marketing and sales, or do you look at it in terms of promotion and branding?
I think it's everything. I think it's everything. Because if you think about it, with every business that we know of or that we spend money with or whatever, all of those things I feel are incorporated in some kind of way. One particular thing could be showcased on a bigger level than something else. But definitely marketing is, hey, we're getting ready to launch this new grocery store. Hey, be on the lookout. Be it's in the newspaper. Sales is you want people to come and spend money at your grocery store. There's your marketing. There's your promotion. Discount deal. Promos like that. And then your brand. Everybody knows who Jewel is. Everybody knows Walmart. So, you know, just success in the business. One thing may shine brighter than something else, but they're all equally important, I feel.
Okay.
For me, foundation, relationship. Why are you going to come spend with me? Why will you invest in me? Do you know me? Do you like me? Do you trust me? So for me, it's about building that relationship as the foundation that all of those other things are built on, because there's a degree of trust that somebody has to have to say, okay, I'm going to invest in you or what you're doing. And again, in particular, in what I do, somebody's basically entrusting their health to me to some degree. And I can go out and say, hey, I got this program here, bye. But again, if I'm not speaking to them, if I'm not speaking to where they are in their own base, if I'm not the thoughts in their head at that moment, I'm just another voice in this loud, vociferous nation of social media and ads and everything else. So for me, the key and most important part is to build a relationship to where, same way you would in a relationship with a person, you get to know the person. All right, you figure out what they like. You put your best foot forward, and then after you do that, you build an establishment of who are you. You know, what do you like? What don't you like? Okay, can I trust you? And then it goes from, okay, let's date. Then it goes, okay, let's date. Let's get married. So if I look at it with that, from that perspective, it builds over time something that's like that wall that is solid enough where that person is willing to say, you know what, I can invest in you because you've built that level of trust within me over a course of time. And I feel like a lot of businesses don't do that. I feel like they're just interested in the sale and getting clients, but they're not focusing on the relation. And those are the people that you get. Then those are the people that turn around and be like, okay, they ghosted you, they dropped out, they disappeared, all of the things like that.
Cool. All right, so what how important is money management to your business? How important is it to y'all? Anybody?
Money management. That is, yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, that top of this when it comes to the financial aspect of what you do, it's the same thing. And I tend to have this connection. I relate everything to health, wealth, fitness, or nutrition. Same thing. If you don't manage what you eat and you want to gain or you want to lose, you're not putting in the right things or taking out the right things. Or if you're putting in fuel for your body that's going to slow you down, then you're not going to get the benefit of it. If you keep spending things, if you keep spending your energy by putting it in the wrong places, or in parallel situation, if you're putting money in the wrong places, or unfortunately, like in the Black community, we get money, for example, income tax season. First thing we do is run to the store. First thing we do is go, I'm going to buy that. First thing we do, I'm going to get my new rims or whatever. We don't have, and again, it's one of those things where, like Naima said, we were taught to survive. So you got to get it and get it while you can, because there's going to be a day where you can't get it. So management is very important. Standing money, like, you know, what is money for? Money is simply a tool. Money is a tool to allow you to move through different places and shift through different spaces. So if you don't know how to manage that, if you don't know how to utilize that as a tool and not allow it to use you to make you adjust to it, but it adjusts to you, then you'll get it and you'll lose it just as quick.
Like water through your hands. You sure will. I touch and agree with you, brother. Okay. Money management is definitely important. If you're not managing money in your business, you don't have a business. You don't have no business having a business. Because that also means that you're not managing money within your life. So if you're not managing money within your business, what's your life looking like? Like, if we're being honest, if we're being transparent. So it's extremely important if money has anything to do with your business, especially if it's coming your way. For example, for us, we have clients where a certain percentage of whatever your service is regarding the money is due prior to, you know, that locks in your date, that does anything like that. As you said, money is a tool. That's what I've been taught. Money is definitely a tool. So for instance, we have this bank that, you know, your money will sit in. And since COVID, now I can bring that up as an example. We have some clients that maybe want different packages, you know what I'm saying, that may have been a little cheaper than what they initially got. Or maybe we have some clients that want a refund. We have to make sure that we have that there for you because of this unbeknownst act of the government, because I'm not putting that on God. I'm not doing that. But because of this experience that came our way that we didn't see coming, we have to be prepared. So in that money management umbrella, I have to be sure that we have this sitting here just in case somebody changes their mind, because say we don't and we spent it on supplies, or we spent it on whatever we were going to do, or equipment, or whatever, however we're investing in ourselves. Now we don't have money to give back to you. That kind of makes us look bad, and it's a bad taste in your mouth. Considering you can't have the what you have here, and now you need the money because you've also lost your job. You know, so it's like, yeah, no, you have to manage your money, or you will not be successful at business. Period. You'll be successful at a hobby, but
no doubt, no doubt. So
it is what it
when we talk about time management, we all know you can't manage time in the sense of that sentence. But what do you guys use? How do you manage your time, or more importantly, or another way to say it, how you manage your task or your to-dos? Do you use a calendar, to-do list, a combination? What do you do? How do you manage it, Naima?
I do. I am heavy in calendars, and I don't even know where that came from. I was not taught that. It was not ingrained in me. But I think that when I became a mother and I had to learn scheduling that way, that helped a lot. So I have calendars. Literal candles are on my wall, like old school, like, hey, write that down. I also use my phone for certain things. I set reminders, but I make sure that whatever is of most importance is at the top, and I make sure I get that done. If it's something that's falling towards the bottom, then those are things that won't hurt me if I don't get to it right away. So that's how I kind of map out my entire life, the entire thing. So yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What about you, Lamarr?
Yeah, I mean, it's really about setting some solids, some things that are in place that are always in place. Do I always do it? No. Do I find time where I'm like wasting time? Heck yeah, it happens.
Amen.
For example,
Amen.
That my morning, like my morning is going to start with my meditation or my prayer, knowing that's a time that is it can't be something that's compromised. There's nothing else. There's no excuse. There's nothing else. That is that time. Knowing what was accomplished the day in this current day, so that I know where to move forward the next day. So planning out what the day is going to look like is one of the most effective ways for me to be able to manage, and then leaving space where it's there's room for transition, shifts, or things that happen, things that come up that may be like, okay, man, this threw me off, and now how do I adjust? Because I'm one who, when I get thrown off, I got an attitude, and pretty sure my wife could tell that. But I got an attitude when things get thrown off, because like if I have something planned, my mindset, my space is right there, and I like to be in that space. And then when I have to do something different, I understand that things happen and things change, but I'm like, all right, I want to stay in as much of that flow as possible, because when I'm investing in a time, whether it's for me, whether it's for something I'm doing, or whether it's with a client, when I invest in that time, I'm in that moment. So I'm not like halfway here and trying to be like, okay, hey, yeah, that drives me crazy. So just knowing what's coming for the day, for the week, and then getting to the point where I'm doing it for the month, knowing that there are shifts that can happen before. But just being able to do that and plan it out, so that as I go forward, I can actually have at least an idea of what things will look like, so I know how to attack it one by one. And like I said, find myself getting distracted, find myself on the phone sometime doing this, and it drives me crazy when because I hate it, because it's like time is it's not the ATM where you put in a card and you be like, yo, I need like another 20 minutes, let me get that back. Once you spend that sucker, it's gone. It is not coming back. So when I catch myself in those moments like that, wasted like 20 minutes, it's like there's no beep 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 beep, get the $20 20 minutes or something. There's none of that. So just being more consistent with that and being more conscious of it, so I can be more consistent of it.
Okay.
Reach into the choir.
Naima, give me two traits that an entrepreneur should have.
Sir, she is present.
You there? I think you're freezing a little bit.
Okay.
You're freezing. You're freezing.
Vision. I feel like is one. You can.
Say it again. You froze a little bit.
Can you gentlemen hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You good now?
Okay. I said number one is vision. You cannot be an entrepreneur without vision, because then where did your dream come from? I feel like that's really important. I think number two would be, wow, to sum it up, vision. And to not be cliche, but you have to be dedicated. You have to be dedicated to your vision. Like, you have to be. It was given to you on purpose, and it was given to you on purpose for a purpose. We all here for a reason, and we're not here for ourselves. We are here for other people. None of our experiences are our own. So you cannot have a vision without doing what you need to do to make sure that vision comes to fruition. So I feel like those are the two things that you need. Cool. Faith without works is dead. So work, dedicate yourself, stay consistent, do what you got to do so that vision comes to life, because that vision was meant for someone else to experience.
Gotcha.
That's what I feel.
Okay, cool. What about you, Lamarr? 2 traits that give that entrepreneurs to have.
I go back to, again, at the very top of the segment. I talked about understanding our psychology. We cannot build something that comes from inside of us if we don't understand us. We can't build something that comes from inside of us if we don't understand the things that have held us back and why they held us back. Because those things will be birthed as seeds, or planted as seeds and birthed in your business and in your personal life as well. So understanding your psychology, understanding why you're doing what you're doing, looking for those hidden patterns as it relates to money management, for example. If you have a pattern of not managing money properly, you have to be able to identify what caused that, whether it was something you saw growing up, whether it was you feeling like when you got money, you had to get what you can get with it because at some point you weren't going to have it anymore, or whatever it is. Find those hidden patterns or those limiting factors. Understand who you are, so that when you go into business, you are going into business, not a shell or a figment of you, but you directly are going into your business. The second one for me would be health. Health is wealth. And I mean, that said, and just to be in line, not to be cliche, if we make a decision to go into building something called a business, we're making a commitment to something. One of the biggest ways to show that you can be committed to building a business is to be committed to building you, because we are an entity unto ourselves. If you can't commit to adding things to your life that'll benefit you, if you can't commit to learning from people other than yourself, if you can't commit to feeding your body the things that you need that are going to progress you as you move forward in your business and in life, if you can't commit to keeping your body in a condition, in a position where you're ready for anything, because exercise in itself is a form of stress. So if you're putting yourself under a certain degree of a stress through exercise, when external things come at you, your body's going to respond. Your brain responds better. There are even different pathways created in our brains from exercise. So for me, those are important, because if I can do the things, and a lot of times people think, oh, you're the coach, you're the trainer, you love to exercise. There's some days where I hate it. And that's exactly the reason why I do it, because those are some of the hardest things for me to do. And if I can do the things that are hard for myself, when I'm faced with decisions to make in business, I'll be able to do the things that's hard and handle those things without being under like an unprecedented amount of stress and feeling like I'm overwhelmed, and then find that, like, unfortunately a lot of people do commit suicide or they give up or whatever it is. So understanding your psychology and your health in terms of your nutrition, in terms of your fitness, in terms of your mental health, your spiritual health, and even your environment, the health of your environment. How's your relationship? How's your relationship with the person you may be in a relationship with? How's your relationship with your friends? Being able to maintain that balance. So all of that derives what fitness is.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. So lastly, for those who want to get into business or entrepreneurship, what one piece of advice would you give them?
Be humble. Sit down. Because you're not gonna come out the gate. Well, if your main priority when it comes to starting a business is money, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. I know that a lot of people like to start businesses for that, and I feel like, you don't want your work to be in vain. As Lamarr said, it has to be within you. And based off where you are in your business, whether it's the beginning steps, whether it's it's the thought process, is going to let you know who you are as an individual and what things you may have to work out. Be humble, though, because nobody starts at the top. I have young entrepreneurs, children. I had, world that we live in, I feel like a lot of these kids are programmed with a little bit of it because of what they have access to. But I have to tell my sons, like, you're not going to appreciate being at the top. You're not going to appreciate, what I'm saying, the income or the experiences. Of humility in any business causes a business to fail. And that's just my opinion.
No doubt. What about you, Lamarr?
Your thoughts?
In addition to having that humility, you better be ready to work.
Straight up.
Own business means that I can work for myself. I can get up when I want, and they got it so twisted. If that's what you think,
you gotta grind to get to that part.
Money, and I don't have to go listen to nobody. Keep listening to somebody. Show up at somebody else's job, because that's gonna keep you accountable. At least that gets you up in the morning and gets you where you're supposed to be. Because if you think that owning your own business means that I can sleep to this time, you got it.
But you don't need your own business. You need.
You putting in them hours.
You have to work sometime 3
You got to. You got to.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna put a video up on. So if you hit up my coach Lamarr, and I'll put it in my link on Instagram. I'll put up a video. It's about 6 minutes long, where there are some Black entrepreneurs who are in the 1% of the wealth that's in this country, and they're even talking about how challenging it is for them, even being in that 1%, where people still dismiss them as if they're not as valuable.
And that's a whole nother conversation.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So you can check out my Coach Lamarr page on Facebook. I'll put the link in the bio on my Instagram. I'll put it up, I guess, in about 10 o'clock. I'll have it up there. But check that out, just to get a perspective on what it means, because it just doesn't stop. I mean, when you stop, it stops.
It doesn't.
And if you're taking that extra,
it doesn't.
Person who's trying to,
oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm listening. I'm passionate, but I'm listening.
That person who's waking up, who has the same vision as you. It's not that they can't do it. It's not that you can't do it because somebody else has the vision. Their vision is as unique as their fingerprint, even if it's similar. So there's going to be a difference in what you're doing, but somebody else is out there grinding. So just know that.
No doubt.
If you want to sleep to 10, you want to sleep to 12, go right ahead.
Yeah.
Slap that piece of paper on a building and call it a business, go right ahead. Somebody else is out there like, yo, I'm gonna have a standard of excellence. I'm gonna have order. I'm gonna have organization.
Yes.
And I'm gonna make sure I get it done. I'll be up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning doing it when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I feel like with the goals, with entrepreneurship, I feel like the goals with that is, one, to not have to give your life over to someone else until you're 65. Here you are. You can have the last 10, 15, 20 years of your life to enjoy your Social Security check. No, I'm not interested. I'd rather start living and enjoying my life way sooner than that. And that's the purpose, I feel, in my opinion, of entrepreneurship, because the purpose of me laying down this foundation and planting these seeds is so that when that harvest come, honey, she can enjoy all of that. Okay. Because you're not going to work me to the bone. You're not going to do that. I'll work myself to the bone for myself, because I know what's the outcome for that. It's to build within this community, which is my home. I'm not going to keep going somewhere else to make sure that your dreams stay alive so you can just pass me a check after I'm 65. No, I'm not interested. So with entrepreneurship, yes, it takes that early work. It takes that early grind. It takes that time. It takes that tediousness. Kobe, can I pull up a quote? Rest in peace, Kobe. Please let me pull up a quote, gentlemen, if we're going to close this out, because this was very impactful for me when I heard it. And I just, and I had to keep it. I had to write it down, because when he was speaking on grinding and inspiration and entrepreneurship, I was like, that he hit it right on the head. In his interview, he asked, do you love the process? Lamarr, you love your process. You passionate. You could be out on the sidewalk by yourself working out because that's your life. You know what I'm saying? Right. I could be in my house putting up decor, doing different things and different techniques because it's my life. That's my passion. I love to be creative, right? So he says, do you process those boring, agonizing moments that get you pointless? If you love them, no, you found something really true to you. I was like, you damn right, Kobe. You damn right. I roll with that. You know, legacy. I got one more and I'm done. I'm gonna put a cap on it, gentlemen. The most important thing you can do is pay everything that you've learned forward to the next generation to come. And that's truly how you create something that lasts forever. Kobe Bryant. And I dropped the mic, but it's expensive, so I'm not going to drop it.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Like this is
yes.
Like people like us, because connecting with like minds, then we begin to hold each other accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So, absolutely.
Doesn't matter what area we're in, separate business, different business ventures, different whatever. Just being within the same way the 1% will meet and they'll talk and the exchange of ideas, being able to do this will allow us. And again, I'm pro-Black, but this for me is open to anybody who has a mind to embrace me as I am, because I'm not going to change it up. I'm not
in all my glory,
anybody, whatever. But just by doing this, we're being held accountable to each other. And like my man E.T., I'm pretty sure y'all familiar with Eric Thomas. Everybody want to be a beast till it's time to do what beasts do.
Straight up.
No doubt.
Everybody want to put on the costume, but don't nobody want to be the real thing.
Oh,
so I agree. This was amazing. This was enriching. This was an enriching experience, and I have made it my business to make sure that when I walk away from something, I leave something. So I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate the exposure. I appreciate the conversation. This was very enlightening and enriching. I am fulfilled. So I appreciate that, gentlemen.
No doubt. No doubt. Very welcome. Very welcome. Well, Lamarr, give your social media again real quick. How can people holler at you?
We got Coach Lamarr. Just hit me up on Facebook at Coach Lamarr, and then I'm on Instagram at CoachL.fit.
CoachL.fit on Instagram, Coach Lamarr on Facebook. And Naima, what about you?
We have exceptional events. That's exceptional events. XPTIONALE events LLC on Facebook, and then on Instagram it's at exceptional.events.
All
Hit
right.
me up.
Naima, put in the chat real quick. Send me a message with that website again, because you was breaking in and out. I'm gonna put it up real quick.
Got it. Done.
just to throw it out there, we have a health and life coaching aspect to the business coming real soon. So look for that in July. It's going to be big. I'll just throw that out there as a seed for now, but it's going to be big.
Awesome.
Cool. Oh, one more thing, Lamarr. You still got that app going on? Lamarr.
Yep.
You still got that app? Or you working on the app?
Yeah, still have it.
Okay. All right, let me see. Exceptionalevents.com. All right, cool. Let me get this changed up real quick just so I can put it on the screen. If I wrote it. All right, is that it right there?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, it is.
Cool. So catch up with Lamarr at Coach L on Instagram and Coach Lamarr on Facebook. You can get with Naima at exceptionalevents.com. All right. And you can holler at me.
There it is.
At NorwoodVenturesUnlimited.com. NorwoodVenturesUnlimited.com. You'll see everything on there, and you'll find me everywhere. And I appreciate y'all for doing this. It's gonna be enlightening. It's been knowledgeful for me, and it's gonna be enlightening to other people as well. When I think about this, I think about what you were saying, Lamarr, earlier about the with how much the dollar is spent amongst the communities. That's what I'm kind of thinking about in this right here. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all guys again. I'll probably be hollering at y'all again later on down the months because I got some ideas of some other stuff I want to do, and I'll be hollering back at y'all. So I appreciate y'all.
I'm down.
All right.
No problem.
So with that being, yeah, no doubt. So with that being said, this is a Norwood Media Vision event. Thoughts of the Week podcast. We gone. Peace.
There you go. Peace.